Bitch, I'm a bird. Bitch, I'm a bird. I don't say yo, I just say, bitch, I'm a bird. Bitch, I'm a bird. Bitch, I'm a bird. Bitch, I'm a bird. Go.
My character, but that's neither here nor there. The Once Shipstealer, Chapter 11, the Technocrat. All right, this is interesting. I really want to learn more about the Technocrat, so hopefully this is a good one. This is Praxis, the Technocrat, speaking from Risk Reborn. It has become evident that even as our numbers grow, many Elliksni have yet to accept our Kel's invitation to take part in the long-awaited progress of our people. Thus, it falls on me to make an argument I did not think I would have to make. No, that is false. I did anticipate some degree of cowardice, obstinacy, stupidity, whatever you might call it, but only in the beginning, when we lacked evidence for our endeavor. At this late stage, however, when Eramis' scale succeeds where all others failed, alas, I might find it hard to believe if I could not see the empty spaces in our half-filled capital, or heard the whispers of doubt sown by the weakling of House Light. Oh, shots fired! Destiny, shots fired. She is calling out House Light. House Light being the only Elliksni house to actually side with the Guardians, saying if we as a species want to survive, we need to stop fighting the Guardians and live with them and be treated as equals and work together. But yeah, most of the Fallen are like, nah, no way. So heard the whispers, doubt sown by the weakling House Light. All right. Yes, even from this moon of some distance, I can tap into your transmission. Misrax. Others may call you Forsaken, but I dub you Foolish. Misrax being the leader of House Light. Oh, she's calling him foolish. Shots fired. Clinging still to that moon-sized obsolescence. Do you forget the lesson we teach our children? A catch laden with unnecessary will never fly. In other words, like, bruh, you still are trusting in the Traveler. That thing is not going to give you powers, bro. We told you time and time again, the Traveler doesn't like you. And you living with the Guardians isn't helping us, bro. That's exactly what they're saying. Wow. As for those of you following in his example, placing your faith in peace with our enemies, well, what good are the words of a scientist if you ignore what is before your own eyes? I can only encourage you to truly think, what proofs have your alleged allies offered of their loyalty, their willingness to share equally with you? How have you truly benefited from them? I mean, they haven't. They're just like living on the outskirts of the city, not even really engaging with society. If you answer none yet, or I don't know, I admire your patience. For myself, for my Kel, for all of us of House Salvation, the time has grown too long and the failures too many to invest in such a flimsy experiment. The Elliksni must update our approach if we are ever to rise. Either join us as we march towards progress, or be swept aside with the vestigialities. That's a pretty long word. I don't know that one. I'm pretty sure she's just threatening violence. Alright, the Once Shipstealer, Chapter 12, the Priestess. Elliksni. Critis, the Priestess, cries out to you across the abyss. So basically, we're just getting shout-outs from all of her captains here to the galaxy. Now we get Critis. The Priestess cries out to you across the abyss. As we speak, the Once Shipstealer brings the promise of our people to pass. Soon we will rise to true prominence, united under one banner and one Kel, with no gods but ourselves. For who withstood the whirlwind? Who pieced together the catches and armories out of the ruins and scraps? Who roamed the vast expanses for generations, subsisting on drips of ether and facing endless battle? Who survived? We did. Not the so-called great machine, nor the idols we crafted in its image. The Elliksni survived. So why do we pine still for a light that shines not on us? Why do we kneel to the servitors that we created? Because we are afraid. Because for all that we've suffered, for how long we've traveled, we clung tight to the belief that we were meant for higher existence, meant to evolve beyond our current forms. If only the whirlwind hadn't cut off our people from godliness too soon. This I believed as well. I mourned the death of our collective potential in our rituals and rites, felt the acid burn of despair in my body as I received succor from our prime servitor, dreamt of the day I turned my weeping eyes up to the sky and found it empty of salvation. I was blind, but Eramis removed the light from my eyes, and now I see. So I entreat you, children of Riss, come receive clarity for yourselves. Witness the greatness of the house salvation and the Kel who leads it. Rejoice, for she has brought our servitors low where they belong. Will do the same with the great machine. The light holds nothing for us now. Long we have traveled in darkness. Now is our time to embrace it. Oh, you think the darkness is your ally? I was born in it, molded by it. It's basically what she says here. So she's just saying, just give up on the light. It's never going to take y'all back as a species. And if we can get darkness powers, why not go ahead and use them? I did find one line in particular interesting that I wanted to highlight right here. Come receive clarity for yourselves. Clarity being a particular word that's come up multiple times in the Destiny universe typically implies the darkness or the use of the darkness in order to achieve something. Specifically, Clovis Bray there's a long story about that. We're actually going to discuss that on the next episode of Becoming Legend, Birdup's podcast. He participates in with another streamer, Tweezy, sorry, not Tweezix, it's X Tweezy X. Anyway, clarity control is something that he found. Well, he communed with the darkness, heard about it, heard that it was on Venus, went and stole it from the people on Venus, and was able to use that to, I'm not going to spoil it, did some crazy stuff with the darkness. He did some crazy stuff with the darkness, and if y'all want to hear all about it, tune into episode 4 of Becoming Legend. Should be out next Thursday on all platforms, Spotify, podcasts, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. Next chapter. Chapter 13, the Wildcard. The Wildcard. Isn't that Atrax? Okay, duh. I'm about to read it. See? I know my stuff. Before I even read, I know who it's about. The Wildcard. I am Atrax, the Wildcard, and I have been charged by Michael to speak to the youth of the Elliksni. Those who, like me, have never known a life that wasn't wandering, who have no memories of risks, only tales of glorious cities under glowing green skies passed down from our elders, the very same ones who moan that we never felt true peace, which can only be found under the shade of the great machine. Well, I, for one, am glad for it. I could not be more grateful the whirlwind came to slice the ties before I was entangled too. They told us it was destruction that visited that day, but what if it was salvation? They called us unlucky to have been born of the dark of deep space, but we were born free. They say we lacked the light to truly see, but when we first opened our eyes, there was nothing to block our view of the vastness of the universe. So why do we let the nostalgia blind point the way? Why do we carry their dead dreams? They have turned their backs on the future. I say, let them. All the easier to strike them down and finish the cleansing started long ago. Thank you. You can join us on Risk Reborn. That's just, wow. Atrax is annoying AF in the raid. Haruki Gaming is absolutely right. She is definitely probably the hardest encounter. I would say even tougher than the final boss. But yeah, she's basically a new generation Elliksni that just really doesn't have time for the ways of the past, and basically says it here, like, if y'all want to follow the light, cool, great, we're gonna wipe you out and move along. Then you can join us on Risk Reborn. Like and subscribe. Okay, bye. Basically. All right, last chapter. This is a pretty long one. This is a really long lore book, and we're going to do it all in one sitting. The The Once Shipstealer, Chapter 14, The Scarred. Ha! So the Ch11-14 seeks the aid of Taniks the Scarred. How formal. Wasn't long ago you called me self-serving scum and spat at my bannerless armor. I might have ripped each and every one of your arms from you then and torn off your legs for good measure. But I sensed one day you'd come begging for my services. Lucky I'm such a vulgar mercenary after all, eh? It works in your favor now that I hold payment above pride. Payment not just in glimmer, in blood and battle, too. No one Kel, no one house has been able to slake my thirst. No one job, either. Though a breakout of the prison of the elders might come close. But for Axor, you ask me to pass over far greater warriors for that impotent Archon? You think he will serve you better than Picus the Disavowed, than Persis, Palisbane, than Calzar the Decthus? I don't know what any of these are, by the way. They're just fallen words. You'd choose Axor over the Shipstealer? Eramis, who led the charge at the final attempt, who hurled herself at the wretched light bearers, who moved so quickly I would have sworn she had 8 arms. When your pathetic winter ones followed in her footsteps, they had to wade through the flood of life force she left in her wake. And still, you wonder why I refuse my house pledge. You could conquer the system, but you'd rather adhere to these arbitrary customs. Axor belongs to winter, and Eramis does not. Twice my usual price. The fee is for my restraint. It will take what little I have to free Axor over the fiercest of Elliksni fighters. So it sounds like they hired Taniks. Okay, so the Ch11-14 seeks the aid of Taniks the Scarred. So Axor, the Ch11-14. It sounds like they put a hit out on Eramis, and they're sending Taniks. And I wonder if that's how he gets wrapped up in I'm not going to spoil too much, but he gets wrapped up in the raid and does some stuff there. Kind of interesting. Especially how they just end the lore book here. Like, that's it. That's where it ends. Okay, cool. Okay.